Clarence Clarity is a British experimental R&B, funk, pop, and electronic music person who sings, writes, performs, and produces all of his amazingly eclectic shit, which to date spans out over the course of 3 EPs, 1 studio album, and 4 singles, one of which we'll be covering today in this video titled Naysayer Godslayer. You can find him online through the following YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and official website links held in the description below.
His debut album, No Now, is available. His music received national radio coverage in the United Kingdom in March 2015, playing a session at Mega Sales Studios in Houston, with BBC Radio 1.
So, as the person of the two of us that enjoyed this track more than the other, I'll start just by saying that I think it's a decent enough track for Clarence in his track record. Maybe just slightly subpar.
I don't think it's terrible. I just think compared to the album No Now, which had way more experimental stuff in, this just falls flat from that. It would fit in the album, to be fair.
I don't think it would. I think where I disagree is sort of in the... just timbres on display are just way less dynamic.
Yeah, the track feels quite compressed, now I think about it.
As well, the instrumentation in use itself, I've noticed Clarence is clocking on way more to, trap hi-hats as well, and that's been present here and in pretty much all of the other singles besides Splitting Hairs. None of which you have heard. None of which are bad. I think the singles have still been pretty consistent otherwise, but it does slightly disappoint me that he wouldn't be using these more inventive drum timbres and textures like he did on No Now. The only one of them that steps up to No Now's level, to me, is Splitting Hairs, and that's just because every track on No Now has specific microtone pitch shifting happening to it, which this track didn't have. None of the other singles have either. But also just I don't know, the sharpness and crispness of the production is there and it isn't fully here. I think it's still dense in texture, just less polished production wise and more synthetic, which is my main disappointment with the track. And kind of my main disappointment with where Clarence has been going with this latest string of singles from him. They just feel comparatively less organic. With the album though now, I actually quite liked the sense of ambiguity of not knowing which tracks had textures that were live recorded or of an organic source and which were actually synthesized. So I think his processing there actually sort of created that ambiguity.
I think part of the reason I saw it is because of the melodies, the frantic scale runs,
I get
and
that.
the funky and danceable hooks and choruses.
The 80s R&B influence is still here. It's potent.
Great.
I think just maybe channeled in a more, by Clarence Clarity standards, in a more conventional way. It's got one of his stickiest hooks as well, which is a huge thing we love about him.
That quick pace bit and then the how does how does the chorus go? So you've got that quick
staccato,
and then you've got the
fire. The two sections of the chorus contrast rhythmically is what you're saying.
Very well.
And I think as a result though, it left the first half of the chorus sticking with me more than the second. Every instrument in that section of the hook is contributing to that same rhythm, and it just makes it more memorable to me.
The high end in this track feels like it's cut off.
When we
16K.
say dull, we're not just saying this is a boring song.
Yeah.
We're saying it literally sounds less
it's
bright.
It's really weird as well. You can hear it most prominently, I think, in vocals and the hi-hats. Things just sound less pronounced.
And defined as well.
Defined is a good word for it. I don't think Clarence's synths in this are doing enough to be that interesting.
I think the patches themselves are kind of simplified as well. They're just pretty vanilla sawtooth.
Yeah, vanilla's a good word for it.
Unfortunately.
One of the most interesting is probably that one in the chorus that plays the lead-in melody.
But even that, I think,
even that
overused a bit.
Yeah, it's still
a shame.
Got a bit too much of the thinness of a sawtooth, I think.
And it's suffering at that high frequency cut.
One of the most prominent synths that have this problem is the one in the verse. I really don't think the rhythm of it helps it at all.
Which is that one?
There aren't as many big production changes or edits in this as there are in No Now, which really helped to add variation. There is still some variation in the choruses. There's just I don't think there's enough to help them grow and feel bigger and new.
Not on No Now's level.
Yeah.
Okay, this I am going to need to glance down at my notes for, but I think the subject matter lyrically of this song, I was expecting Clarence to just tackle another angle of like internet consumerism again. He's never done it in like an overtly or like obvious way. He's been sort of more like cryptic with his like choice of lyrics and what like his reference points are. The way I saw this track was like Clarence being in the position of someone who's seeking validation from a significant other on like their promiscuity or the fact they want them to not be promiscuous. This is more self-applied of an interpretation, which kind of disappoints me about the lyrics, but what I try to apply to it interpretively was that Clarence is attaining all this information from seeing pictures of his significant other with like other men at like social outings or something, and that sort of like worries him on the other side of his phone screen, saying like, I feel like you've been fucking everyone, which is kind of shitty. I don't think there's enough in the lyrics that really hints to that specifically. It's just my guess because I expect Clarence to like talk about the internet because that's built around his whole aesthetic and niche as an artist. It relies more on the lyrics in the chorus than I would like it to. Really, I think that's.
I think it just relies more on the chorus, more so than anything in this song, which I think is a problem with this song because of the fact that it doesn't grow. Having
said that, I do think that the melody, I think that's fucking killer. I really love that melody. It seems wrong to say that it's a letdown because I think it's still got a lot of great things going for it.
Yeah, it does. It's just, I guess, for me, after listening to Know Now,
that's like the gold standard.
Yeah.
We feel about this like this. There. Alright, good. Fuck Clarence, clarity.